In the middle of a junkyard, far from anything shiny or new, lived a round little pug named Frankie. She wasn't fancy. She wasn't flashy, but she was tough. Frankie had been there ever since she was a pup, left behind by owners she barely remembered. She could still picture it, the car speeding away in a cloud of dust, her pink blanket in her tiny mouth. She had waited for them, all day, all night, but they never came back. So she built a life out of the scraps left behind. Her shelter was made of old tires, bent metal sheets, and a squeaky car door. It wasn't pretty, but it kept most of the rain out. At night, when the cold crept in, she curled up under her worn blanket and told herself she didn't mind. She didn't complain much, but she didn't smile much either. Life was hard and lonely. While Frankie was looking for some food, the sky turned black. The rain came down hard, pounding like drums. Lightning tore across the sky and thunder rattled the junkyard. Far away from her shelter, Frankie huddled beneath an old rusty truck. For 2 long, scary days, she stayed hidden, listening to the storm tear the world apart. When the storm finally blew away, the sky peeked open. Frankie stepped into the light and slowly made her way back home. Her little shelter? Flattened. She sat down right there in the mud with a tired little sigh. As she began picking through the wreckage, something rustled behind a junk pile. Cautiously, she crept forward. Out popped a fluffy, muddy dog with wide, scared eyes and shivering paws. "Who are you?" Frankie asked, her voice a little gruff. The dog looked up at her, his nose dripping rainwater and tears. "I'm Morrie," he said in a shaky voice. I got caught in the storm. My house is gone. My family is gone. I don't know where to go." Frankie and Morrie had built a home. It wasn't perfect, it wasn't pretty, but it was theirs. In the middle of a quiet, rusted junkyard, their little house stood proud, made from old sheet metal, broken crates, and forgotten furniture. They'd even planted a crooked little garden, where nothing was growing, but Morrie watered it every day anyway. Inside, they had soft blankets, little trinkets rescued from the trash, and a wall where they'd hung their favorite treasures. A dented tea kettle, a little mirror, a purple mitten with a heart on one side. It was the kind of place only 2 dogs like them could love, and they did. They went through a warm and a cold season together, and now it was warm again. Frankie still grumbled more than she smiled, and Morrie still talked too much and tripped over things. They couldn't imagine life without each other. Frankie and Morrie headed out to scavenge for breakfast. As they walked, Morrie spotted something sticking out from a towering pile of junk. "Frankie," he barked. "Look, it's a fix-it book." Frankie squinted. So, Morrie said, already tugging at it. "We can use it to make the house better. We can build and fix everything." Morrie yanked on the book and then yanked harder. It stuck. "Be careful," Frankie warned, stepping closer. But with one big pull and pop, the book came free, tipping the pile of garbage it was stuck under. A heavy metal bin teetered from the top of the pile. Frankie looked up just in time to see it fall. Crash! It struck her head and slammed into her back. She hit the ground with a terrible thud. Then everything went still. "Frankie? Frankie? Please wake up!" Morrie cried, nudging her with his nose. But she didn't move. He had to find help. He had to do something. So he ran. I need help," Morrie panted, shaking with fear. "My friend, she's hurt. Please." "You look like a mangy mess," the pig snapped. "How do I know you're not here to steal eggs?" 2 chickens peeked around the corner. "I'm not," Morrie cried. She's not waking up. I don't know what to do." The pig narrowed his eyes. "You better turn around, Mutt. This is a peaceful place." Just then, a soft voice floated near. An old woman stepped out around the corner with gardening tools in her hands. She was humming a tune that calmed the whole yard. She saw Morrie shaking in the grass and gasped. "Well, hello there," she said gently, kneeling down. "Are you lost, sweetheart?" Morrie sniffed her hand. She smelled like flowers. "My friend, please," he whispered. "She's back in the junkyard. She's hurt. I think she's dying." Morrie took off running again, and Mrs. Faber followed, her boots crunching through leaves. Stewart snorted as he watched them run off, grumbling something about new mouths to feed. When they reached the junkyard, Frankie was still there, eyes closed, mouth open, barely breathing. Mrs. Faber gasped and rushed to her side. "Poor thing," she whispered. "Hang on, sweetheart." She carefully lifted Frankie into her arms and turned to Morrie. "Let's bring her home." The walk back was quiet. Morrie stayed close, eyes locked between the road ahead and Frankie's face. He whimpered when his worry became too big to contain. Mrs. Faber laid Frankie down on a bed of soft blankets by the fireplace. Then she picked up the phone. "Stay with her," she said gently. "I'm calling the vet." Morrie sat beside Frankie. "I'm so sorry," he whispered as he nudged her cheek. "This is all my fault." She didn't respond.
Hounds is a heartfelt story about two stray dogs, Frankie and Morrie, who build a handyman business from scratch and slowly change an entire town. It's inspired by our real shop dogs with the same names, who once wandered off from our plumbing shop and came back muddy and joyful like they'd been on a wild adventure. That moment sparked this story. But it's also based on real experiences from the plumbing field, years of blue-collar work, problem-solving, and hard-earned trust. This book is a tribute to that life, to second chances, to tradespeople, to anyone who's ever made something from nothing with their own hands. It's not just a children's story. It's a love letter to the trades and a way of life worth preserving, and it was written with heart for kids, families, and future builders everywhere. Perfect as a gift or an addition to your little reader's library, this book is great as a first chapter book or a read-aloud bedtime series. It'll warm your heart, make you laugh, and leave you rooting for two dogs and a pig who prove that hard work can change everything.